Well, by now you've likely realized that we've added a new member to our WCPO family, but you may be wondering, why am I talking about Good Morning Tri-State's newest anchor, Adrian Whitsett, here on Homefront? You see, once a Marine, always a Marine.
This was Okinawa, big tough Marine working out.
Looking through old photos, Adrian Whitsett can remember very clearly the final weeks in Marine Corps boot camp.
I was part of the Crucible era in '99.
The Crucible, a graduation requirement, some 54 hours nonstop, relying on your fellow Marines to get it done.
And yeah, when they pinned that hemoglobin anchor on you, it was a crazy feeling. It was awesome.
Following the attacks of September 11th, military units across the U.S. geared up for war. 17 months after the attacks, he was on his way overseas.
February of '03, we flew over to Kuwait. We started doing listening posts up by the Iraqi border, and in March, that third week of March, we went over.
His unit would roll through the desert after sunset with only night vision leading the way.
We sort of crisscrossed in southern Iraq until we got to Nasiriyah, and just outside of Nasiriyah, we had a pretty crazy battle. The Republican National Guard had taken guys from Baghdad, threw them on buses, drove them down to meet the Marines. Wasn't pretty for them.
His time in the war would last a few months until his time in the Corps had come to an end after nearly 4.5 years. But the effects of what he experienced in Iraq would soon come back to haunt him.
I got 2 DUIs. I think I was just trying to deaden the world around me.
He quickly realized self-medicating for post-traumatic stress tied to his combat wasn't the answer, and he knew he needed to make a change. Ironically, the next chapter of journalism would be tied to his encounter with a journalist during the war.
The one thing I knew unequivocally is that you're supposed to be, as a journalist, just over it. Like, you're supposed to be impartial, you're supposed to not bring your feelings to it. And that sort of was the impetus for me. I started looking at it.
The next thing he knows, he's attending the University of Nebraska, graduates and gets his first job at KETV in Omaha. He'd then fall in love with Emily, move to Florida for a job with West 2 News, get married in 2017, and celebrate the arrival of their son Kai.
So why Cincinnati?
My wife's family, they're all here. When I thought about the way that my son was going to see his grandparents, we lived in Florida. I thought people were going to be coming there left and right, and then everything got shut down. And it really made my wife and I reevaluate what we want, not only for our family, but for Kai specifically. And so when the opportunity at WCPO came, I mean, we jumped at it.
As for the ethos that Adrian maintains from the Corps, he says the discipline of getting things done and getting it right are key. In addition, he hopes to use his own military experience to help other veterans in the community either transition or get the help they really need, and also encourages veterans to not be afraid to ask for that help. So with that, welcome aboard, Marine.